everyone, and welcome to Future Serve Overseas Education Services. My name is Varda Mazhar.
And I am Amar Obas.
Currently serving as an ESL and IELTS instructor. So guys, we are back with another interesting episode of Future Serve, and today the topic we're going to discuss is all about active passive voice. But before digging into the discussion, let me share a little bit about Future Serve. So Future Serve is basically an international education advisory, and we are offering three kinds of services regarding career counseling, the international exposure, and the skills development. In the career counseling, what we do is we help you through your discipline choices, and we also give you the insight of the university that you are gonna choose for yourself. According to our services, we help you through the fee structure, we give you the eligibility criteria, and we also help you to find the best suitable English language proficiency tests. In the international exposure, what we do is we give you the traditional and the cultural tips of the country which you already chosen to go and study, and we also give you the post and the pre-departure tips. In the skills development, we help you through some of the professional tricks and tips through which you can mingle with the job market you're going to live, because when you're traveling abroad, you definitely would love to experience the job market of the place. So this is something about Future Serve. There is much more that we have in our pockets for you people. So getting back to the point, but getting back to the topic, that is active passive voice, and we are going to learn a lot about this thing from Mr. Amar Owais.
In the name of Almighty Allah, who is the most merciful and compassionate, who is the King of the Kings and the King of the Day of Resurrection, let us start this session with the gracious and supreme name of Almighty Allah. Today we are going to discuss about the passive voice, the active and passive, right? Let me tell you something, that a couple of days back when we did the session of the tenses, today's session is related with that day's session, which was about the tenses.
Okay.
So you asked a question about active and passive voice. I really want to throw light on the passive voice because this is the topic of English grammar, which is important topic among all the important topics, right? So the students, the entrepreneurs, and even the professionals, they face problems in making passive voice sentences. Now, let me briefly explain what passive voice is.
Okay.
Now, as I've been teaching for past 9 years, I've got expertise in teaching grammar, and I've got expertise in teaching passive voice. So I do not want to make the students bored. Just I want to make it a bit interested that how is the passive voice used in the daily conversation and what passive voice is.
Okay.
So basically, when you talk about the actions, for instance, I would say the tenses. So these tenses are known as active voice.
Okay.
When in tenses, I had said that in tenses we focused on the subjects.
Okay.
Subject means a person who performs the action, or a thing which performs the action, living or non-living. They are known as the subject when they perform the action.
Okay.
The other of the type is, I do remember I had released this sentence in the tenses, and I had said that there was a subject-verb agreement. And in subject-verb agreement, you know how to put the verb in appropriate place, how to put the object in an appropriate place, and how to put the subject in an appropriate place. So the subject, verb, and object, these three terms are fundamentally used in active voice as well as in passive voice. So the tenses are known as the active voice in which the subject is focused, and the passive voice is known as the sentence in which the object is focused. Now, object means a thing which receives the actions. So if an action is received by an object, and when you are actually highlighting the object of a sentence, this is what known as the passive voice. Why?
Okay.
Because in some particular cases, we focus on the object. Why? Because we want to make the object more highlighted than the subject in that sentence. That is the case that we use passive voice. Now, let me give you a very simple and easy and interesting example. I say that I bought the car. So here this sentence I'm talking about simple past tense, and it is simple past tense, and I bought the car. So I is the subject, bought is the second form of the verb, the car is the object of that sentence. So if you focus on this sentence, so I is the subject. So I used I'm focusing and highlighting my own self that I bought the car. I want the people to look at me and focus on me that I bought the car. Forget about the car, what the car is, but I just bought a car. So same is the case that when I want to highlight the object of a sentence, I want the people to look at the car rather than looking at me. So I would say that the car is bought by me. The car, yeah, this car is bought by me. So I'm using the demonstrative pronoun in it, and I'm using it that this car is bought by me. So this, I'm given that indication, the demonstration, and I really want to highlight the object of that sentence. What is the object? The car. Who bought the car? It is me. So I do not want to highlight myself. I want to highlight the thing, the wheels which I have bought. So I use it in the passive voice. And when you use passive voice, the sentence looks a bit authentic, and it looks a bit professional, if I'm not wrong. So that is the case that students and in writing, in IELTS writing specifically, passive voice is very important because you have to look at the sentence on different aspects. Now, same is the case that in the writing rules or in speaking as well, you are not supposed to, you're not even supposed, you're not allowed even, right, to repeat the sentences. So suppose if you've got a stuck in your conversation, you do not know the substitute sentence of that statement what you used, you can use the passive voice out of it. Suppose if in a sentence you're focused on the subject, later on, deep in the middle of the conversation or deep in the middle of the words that you're writing in the descriptive essay, you are focusing on the object as well. So that is the case that if you used active voice in a sentence, you can already use a passive voice of that sentence in the same paragraph. So the same will be a bit interesting because the sentence will not be repeated and you are converting the active voice into the passive voice of that sentence. So in short, I do not want to take it to a longer duration of time because we have short time to do that, but I really want to explain the passive voice, and I think I've explained, but I just want to throw light on that passive voice once more, that the sentence which focuses on the objects rather than focusing on the subjects, that is the passive voice. And then we have got rules which I will be telling you in a bit, right? We have got rules in converting an active into the passive voice. Definitely I will be giving you the auxiliaries and I will be giving you giving the answers in a bit, inshallah, right? So to the answer of your question, passive voice means the sentence which focuses on the object.
अच्छा, तो यानी कि हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को ये बता रहे हैं कि द डिफरेंस बिटवीन एक्टिव एंड द पैसिव वॉइस इज के एक्टिव वॉइस में हम लोग ऑब्जेक्ट पे फोकस करते हैं, ऐसे ही है?
नहीं, एक्टिव वॉइस में हम सब्जेक्ट पे फोकस करते हैं, विच आर द टेंसेस।
ठीक है, हम लोग अपने टेंसेस के ऊपर बेसिकली फोकस करते हैं एंड पैसिव वॉइस उसकी आपने बड़ी क्लियर पिक्चर स्टूडेंट्स के साथ शेयर कर दी है। तो सर आप हमें ये बताएं कि व्हाट आर द रूल्स टू बी फॉलोड व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट पैसिव वॉइस?
ठीक है, अब देखें रूल्स जो है ना, ज़्यादातर स्टूडेंट्स जो होते हैं मैडम, a lot of students face the problem in converting active voice into the passive voice.
ठीक है,
अब उसके थोड़े रूल्स हैं। सबसे पहला रूल उसका ये है कि सबसे पहले को छोड़ो, मैं सारे के सारे आपको बता देता हूँ। सबसे पहले आपने सब्जेक्ट और ऑब्जेक्ट पर फोकस करना है। किस पे? सब्जेक्ट एंड ऑब्जेक्ट पे फोकस करना है। फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू, सो यू आर द ऑब्जेक्ट बिकॉज यू आर रिसीविंग द एक्शन। व्हिच एक्शन? माय सेंटेंसेस। आई एम द सब्जेक्ट हु इज स्पीकिंग। ठीक है, सो let me briefly explain the rules of the passive voice, and I want my viewers, my spectators to note down with themselves or whatever, but they should focus on the rules that I'm actually going to explain.
These are very important क्योंकि passive active voice ऐसी चीज़ है जो हम लोग अपनी डेली रूटीन में यूज करते हैं। तो obviously हमें इसके सारे रूल्स पता होने चाहिए। जी सर।
Rule number 1, subject will convert to the object. ये मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, आप जब टेंस को पैसिव में कन्वर्ट करेंगे, टेंस को, सेंटेंस को आप पैसिव में कन्वर्ट करेंगे, तो पैसिव का जो रूल होगा, व्हाट विल बी द रूल ऑफ द पैसिव वॉइस, लेट मी टेल यू। subject will come to the place of object and object will go to the place of subject.
एक एग्जांपल भी दे दें तो ज्यादा
Yes,
क्लियर हो जाएगा।
मैं दे देता हूँ. For
ठीक है,
example, I cook rice. I मेरे पास सब्जेक्ट है,
ठीक है,
कुक मेरे पास वर्ब है, राइस मेरे पास ऑब्जेक्ट है.
ठीक है,
दिस इज द सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस, दिस इज द एक्टिव वॉइस ऑफ दैट सेंटेंस. आई कुक राइस. अब इसको मैं पैसिव में कैसे कन्वर्ट करूंगा? देखिए इस सेंटेंस में ऑब्जेक्ट कौन सा है? राइस.
राइस है,
राइस को मैं ले आऊंगा आई की जगह पर,
ठीक है,
आई को ले जाऊंगा राइस
राइस
की
की
जगह
जगह
पर.
पे।
सो आई विल से, अब ये जो इसमें हमारे पास जो वर्ब की फर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब है कुक, इसको मैं वर्ब की थर्ड फॉर्म में
थर्ड फॉर्म
कन्वर्ट
में
कर
कर देंगे,
दूंगा.
ठीक है।
मैं कहूंगा राइस इज कुकड बाय मी. आई जो है वो मी में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा.
ठीक
किस लिए
है।
कन्वर्ट होगा वो भी मैं बता देता हूँ आपको. ठीक है, तो राइस आ गया आई की जगह पर, आई चला गया राइस की जगह पर और मी में कन्वर्ट हो गया.
ठीक
वर्ब
है।
की थर्ड फॉर्म हमने
थर्ड
यूज
फॉर्म आ
कर
गई,
दी. सो
बिल्कुल।
यू नो आई कन्वर्टेड सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस इनटू द पैसिव वॉइस दैट आई कुक राइस, राइस इज कुक्ड बाय मी. सो ये हो गया रूल दैट सब्जेक्ट गोज टू द प्लेस ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट, ऑब्जेक्ट कम्स टू द प्लेस ऑफ सब्जेक्ट. ये रूल हो गया. सेकंड वन, यस सेकंड वन, वर्ब की थर्ड फॉर्म इस्तेमाल करनी है. यू हैव टू यूज द वर्ब्स थर्ड फॉर्म इन ऑल ऑफ द पैसिव वॉइसेस. सारे के सारे पैसिव वॉइस के सेंटेंसेस जो हैं वो आप वर्ब की थर्ड फॉर्म आप उसमें यूज करेंगे. यू हैव टू यूज वर्ब्स थर्ड फॉर्म व्हेन यू कन्वर्ट द टेंस इनटू द पैसिव वॉइस. Means no case of first form of verb, no case of second form of verb, no case of ing form of verb, no case of ses form of verb. Right? What you have to focus on is the third form of verb in all of the tenses.
Okay.
And as I give an example, I cook rice. So cook was the first form
First
of verb.
form, yeah.
And I converted it in cooked. And
Yeah.
cooked was the third form
थर्ड
of verb.
फॉर्म, राइट।
So you have to convert the tenses into the passive voices, plus you have to use the verb's third form. This is the second rule. First rule was subject, object, object, subject.
ठीक है।
Second rule is the verb's third form will be used.
राइट।
Verb's third form. And where will you use verb's third form? That is the case that you have to work on the subject verb agreement. Like when you talk about the subject verb agreement, you know that where is its appropriate place. Like same is the example which I give in the classes, that you cannot put petrol in the diesel engine. Neither you can put diesel in the petrol engine. They have got their appropriate lubricants, appropriate fuels that you put in it. Otherwise, everything will be destroyed and demolished. So subject always comes in the start, and right after subject you put verb's third form. Right? You put auxiliary verb as well. I'm coming towards auxiliary, but I'm just talking about the use of the verb, that it will come after the subject and before the object in the middle of the sentence. As verbs are known as the backbone of a sentence.
That's great.
Right? And it will come in the middle of the sentence rather than putting it in anywhere else. Okay? So you will put it in the middle of this, in the middle of the sentence, right? So verb's third form is there. I'm sorry. नेक्स्ट इसका जो रूल है दैट, अब इसमें एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग सा एक टॉपिक है कि इफ अ सेंटेंस हैज एडजेक्टिव, एडवर्ब एंड preposition before the object,
Okay.
it will not be converted into passive voice.
अच्छा।
Yes, this is the rule. That if a sentence has adjective, what is adjective? A word which modifies noun and pronoun.
Yep.
What is adverb? A sentence which modifies noun, verb, and another a word which modifies verb, adjective, and another adverb. This is the definition of the adverb. And what is the preposition? A word which defines the position of noun and pronoun. A word which defines the position of subject. This is the preposition. So if these three words, the adjective which modifies noun and pronoun, the adverb which modifies verb, adjective, and another adverb, and the preposition which shows the the position of the subject or noun and pronoun, अगर ये तीन चीजें object से पहले आ जाती हैं, they will not be converted. Now let me give you a very easy example.
ठीक है।
If I say that he, adjective की example मैं आपको देता हूँ, he is handsome. He is handsome. So handsome is the adjective. It is the qualitative adjective. Right? When you talk about the qualitative adjective, it does not have an object at the end. Right?
ठीक है।
Simply I would say he is a handsome man. So same is the case that man इसमें object आ भी गया, लेकिन इससे पहले adjective है, it will not be converted. ठीक है?
That's very simple.
Yes. Second is the example, adverb अगर आ जाए. For example, he drives the car. He drives slowly. He drives slowly. ठीक है? He drives Slowly. So in this sentence, slowly is the adverb. Slowly is the adverb. It is the adverb of manner. So
Okay.
you will say he drives slowly. So slowly is the adverb and it does not have any object at the end. This sentence will never be converted. Why? Because it has an adverb and there is no object at this end. ठीक है?
ठीक है.
Next is the case when you talk about the preposition.
ठीक है.
When you talk about
Prepositions.
preposition,
All
so
right.
preposition में अगर आप एक sentence बनाते हैं, for example, he goes to school. So to is the preposition. It is the preposition of direction. You know, so you would say he goes to school. So to is the preposition which has come before the object. Such sentences cannot be converted, right? I think I have simplified the things. इसमें कोई rocket science नहीं है.
बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है.
समझ आ रही है ना आपको मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ?
बिल्कुल मुझे आ रही है
तो
समझ.
adjective आ गया, adverb आ गया और preposition आ गया in a sentence. They will never be converted at any single cost.
All right.
ये हो गया इसका third rule.
अच्छा, तो रूल नंबर 1 हमारे पास जो था कि ऑब्जेक्ट सब्जेक्ट सब्जेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट, ठीक है. और रूल नंबर 2 हमारे पास क्या
Verbs
था?
की third form.
वर्ब्स की थर्ड फॉर्म. और रूल नंबर 3 एडजेक्टिव एडवर्ब एंड प्रपोजिशन वाले जो हैं सेंटेंसेस वो हम कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सकते पैसिव वॉइस में. दैट वाज वेरी सिंपल. आगे
Yes, वो convert नहीं हो सकता.
ठीक है.
अब मैंने auxiliary verbs की बात की थी फिर remember.
या बिल्कुल.
Auxiliary verbs क्या हैं? Auxiliary verbs are known as the functional words which help a sentence to complete.
ओके.
Now, auxiliary verbs are actually the helpers. The helpers,
sure.
which help a sentence to complete. The auxiliary verbs help the verb to complete a sentence. And I had said that we had 23 auxiliary verbs. How many?
Yes, how many? 23,
auxiliary.
yeah.
So the
And we
23
discussed it in
auxiliary
detail.
verbs are, let me explain again, is, am, are, do, does, did, has, have, had, was, were, will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, be, being. These are the 23 auxiliary verbs.
Yes.
And I had said that the auxiliary verbs of the active voices are separate and the auxiliary verbs of the passive voices are separate. So the next rule will be that the auxiliary verbs will be changed. Now, if I talk about simple past tense, let me give an example. If I talk about simple past tense, so in simple past tense, in positive sentence, we do not have any auxiliary verb.
ठीक.
We say, I spoke the truth. So here in this sentence, I is the subject, spoke is the verb's second form, and truth is the object of a sentence. So I would say, I spoke the truth. So here in this sentence, we do not have any auxiliary verb. But when I convert this tense into the passive voice, I do put an auxiliary, was, were in it. Now, was and were both are the auxiliaries of simple past tense passive voice. Now, I would say the truth was spoken by me. So was वर उसमें आ गया ना मैडम. So ये auxiliaries जो हैं आप change करते हैं sentence.
सही.
ठीक है? For example, if I talk about present perfect tense, right? For instance, I would say he has purchased the car. So this is the third form of verb already, you know, because it's the perfect tense. So you already use verb third form, so you will not change it. You will bring the same, but you change the auxiliary. How will you change the auxiliary? The car has been purchased by me. So been is the semi-auxiliary verb, which is inculcated in that sentence. So that is the case that the auxiliary verbs will get changed. You change the auxiliary verbs and you put the appropriate auxiliary verbs in the passive voice. ये इसका एक रूल है हमारे पास कि the auxiliary verbs will change. अच्छा, अब how many tenses do we have, madam?
12.
12. We have 12 kinds of tenses and we have 3 basic tenses.
Yeah.
So past, present, future. So among the 12 kinds of tenses, not all of them can be converted. All of the tenses cannot be converted.
Yes, I was coming to this point. By
yes,
the way. Yes,
8 tenses can be converted.
Acha.
Do you want to ask something?
Yeah, the same thing. Like we believe that some of the tenses cannot be converted into the passive voice.
Yes, these tenses cannot be converted into the passive voice. Now let me tell you the example as well. We have 8 tenses which can be converted, and we have 4 tenses which cannot be converted.
ठीक है.
The tenses which are converted, let me take their names. Simple past, past perfect, past continuous. Simple present, present perfect, present continuous. Simple future and future perfect tense. These 3 tenses can be, these 8 tenses can be converted.
Can be converted.
Can be converted.
Can be converted into passive voice.
Passive voice.
Yes.
And 4 tenses
Keep
cannot be
mind.
converted. Which tenses? Past perfect continuous, present perfect continuous, future perfect continuous, and future continuous. These 4 tenses cannot be converted. Why are they not converted? Because they are using 2 separate auxiliaries in a sentence. Now, if I say that, you know, it has been raining since morning. So since and for. Since and for, they both are known as prepositions.
सही है.
So I said before that if a sentence has a preposition, it can never be converted. Object से पहले preposition since and for आ गए.
जी.
ठीक है, ये हमारे पास क्या हो गया? It cannot be converted because of the preposition.
Preposition.
ये reason है कि ये convert नहीं हो सकते ये tenses. समझ आ रही है आपको
समझ आ
मैडम?
रही.
That is the case that these tenses cannot be converted. कौन कौन से convert नहीं हो सकते? I would repeat again: past perfect continuous, present perfect continuous, future perfect continuous, as well as future continuous tense. So these 8 tenses can be converted, and these are
These
the rules
four,
of.
okay. And
These
these
are.
ठीक है sorry carry on.
Gigi, please.
नहीं मैं वैसे ही कही थी कि these four cannot convert it.
Yes,
ठीक है?
these 4
Yeah.
cannot
Not
be converted. So I think this is an overlook, and this is the insight of the thing which I released. In front of
And I am sure that हमारे audience को बड़ा मजा आ रहा होगा सुन
Yes,
के.
I'm waiting for their messages as well.
ठीक है सर. तो एक और बात, what about the transitive and intransitive verbs?
हाँ, देखिए transitive और intransitive verbs एक बहुत ही interesting topic है.
Yeah.
This is an interesting topic in which we focus on the objects. Simply, I would say that transitive verbs or transitive sentences are those sentences which have the object. Like if a sentence does not have an object, it will be considered as intransitive verb. For
Okay.
example, if a sentence does not have an object, for example, he is smiling. He is smiling, so it is intransitive verb. The
Achha.
smiling is intransitive verb
Intransitive
because it does not have any object in there. He is smiling, so it is intransitive verb. So transitive verbs are those sentences which have the direct object,
Okay.
and intransitive sentences are those sentences which do not have any direct object. So this is the definition between the transitive and intransitive verb.
So what do we have to do with the transitive and intransitive verbs in passive voice?
So intransitive verbs can never be converted.
ठीक है. The same rule.
Yes, intransitive verbs
Okay.
cannot be converted. Transitive verbs can be converted, and transitive verbs are
Alright.
those sentences which have a direct object in its sentence.
All right.
G. And intransitive can never be converted because of not having the direct object.
Okay.
G.
So as an instructor, like you have mashallah very broad aspect of grammar and you have a very good relationship with all these things. तो आप अपने students को क्या advice करेंगे कि वो इस चीज़ की practice कैसे करें?
ठीक है, प्रैक्टिस इसकी इस तरह से करनी है हमने कि सबसे पहले फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड रेकमेंड एंड आई वुड सजेस्ट माय स्टूडेंट्स टू फोकस ऑन देयर forms of verbs. First of all, memorize the forms of verbs, because if you do not know about the forms of verbs, the students will definitely face the problems.
ठीक है.
ठीक है, they will definitely face the problems. ठीक है, and they have to work on the subject and object. Now let me throw light on the subject and object to the answer of your question, that what
Okay.
should the students do.
Yeah.
I would say that the students should work on the subject pronoun and the object pronoun.
Okay.
Pronoun is a word which is used in place of pronoun. In place of noun.
Yeah.
Pronoun is a word which is used in place of noun.
Yeah.
So you have to work on the pronoun, because we have a lot of kinds of pronoun.
बिल्कुल ऐसे
We
ही.
have indefinite pronoun, we have possessive pronoun, we have
Exactly.
subject pronoun, we have reflexive pronoun, we
There
have
are so many.
reciprocal pronoun, we have subject pronoun, we have object pronoun, we have a lot of kinds of
Yes,
pronouns. I do
there
not
are
want to
many.
go in deep in pronouns because
Exactly.
it's something else, but the students should work on their subject and object. Now if I talk about subject, so I, you, we, they, he, she, it, they are known as the subject pronouns, the first person, second person and third person pronouns. ठीक है, when you convert these subject pronouns into the object pronouns, they will be changed accordingly. Now I will be converted to me, you will remain the same, it will not convert, like you will remain the same. We will be converted into us.
Yep.
They will be converted into them.
Yeah.
She will be converted into her. He will be converted into him.
Yeah.
And it will remain the
The
same.
same.
Plus the nouns will remain the same in the passive voice. For example, Aslam has bought a car. A car has been bought by Aslam.
Aslam.
It will remain the same. You cannot use him in place of Aslam.
true
Right?
that.
Yes. So you will put on the even that is common noun or proper noun. The noun will remain the same.
Noun will remain.
The noun
same.
will remain the same. So to the answer of your question, I would suggest my students that they should work on their subject and object pronouns. They have to know about the rules which I have explained. I think I have briefly explained.
Yep.
इसमें एक चीज मुझसे रह गई, which is let and buy. ठीक है, let हमारे पास यूज होता है imperative sentence में, जब आप किसी को ऑर्डर देते हो, open the door, let the door be opened.
Okay.
ठीक है, and buy is used in all of the passive voice sentences. Why? Because the buy is actually trying to tell about the subject which has performed the action. Right? So I would say that the rice has been cooked by Varda. So by Varda. किसने बनाया? वर्दा ने बनाया. So I'm actually working on the, I'm actually trying to expose the subject with the help of by. So आपने by का इस्तेमाल हर एक पैसिव वॉइस में करना है accordingly. अच्छा, अब इसमें एक दूसरा वो है that I said that if preposition, adjective and prepositions, adjective, adverb and prepositions before the object cannot be converted.
Yes.
If they come after the subject, they can be converted.
अच्छा, how come?
If they come after the subject, after the subject,
After the
they
subject.
can be converted.
Yeah.
For
Example?
example,
Yeah.
he drives the car slowly. He drives the car slowly. So here in this sentence, slowly is adverb, but it is coming after the object. The car. Car is the object. So I would say the car is driven slowly.
Okay.
The car is driven slowly by him.
By him.
Yeah, the car is driven by him slowly.
Achha.
Both are correct. The
Achha.
point is the adverb is coming after the object.
Yeah, that is the point.
The object is coming after the object. So students have to work on these modules. It is a bit tricky. It is not difficult. It is a bit tricky. You have to learn about them.
Yeah.
Now, if I talk about the auxiliary verbs, how are they changed accordingly? Right? I said that we had 8 auxiliary verbs, 8 tenses which could be converted. So let me explain their auxiliaries to my students as well.
Okay.
If I talk about simple past tense, that is was, were plus verbs third form.
Was, were
Plus verbs third form.
Okay.
Present past continuous tense, same is the case, but in the continuous tenses we use being as a semi auxiliary verb. We use was, were plus being,
yeah.
plus verbs third form. Past perfect tense, had plus been plus verbs third form. Simple present tense is mr plus verbs third form. Present continuous tense is mr plus being plus verbs third form. Present perfect tense has, have plus been plus verbs third form. Simple future tense will, shall plus be
Same.
plus verbs third form. Future perfect tense will, shall plus have plus been plus verbs third form.
Alright.
So these are the auxiliaries which are used in the passive voice of the tenses. So I think I have briefly explained everything. There is
yeah.
nothing to mention anything.
Yeah, there's nothing left even.
Yeah, I think I have explained. And if you have any question in your brain, and if my students have any question in their brains, so they can ask.
तो मैं एक सजेशन भी देना चाह रही हूँ अपने
Please.
व्यूअर्स को कि अगर आप लोगों के माइंड में कोई टॉपिक हो, द टॉपिक दैट यू गाइस वांट कि हम उसको कवर करें आपके लिए, कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग लेकर आए, सो प्लीज डू लेट अस नो, राइट सर?
Definitely.
It would be very
I'm always
wonderful.
ready.
Yes, it would be
Yeah.
very
For
wonderful.
grammar, I'm always
Yes,
ready, yeah.
Exactly. Anything that is related to English, not specifically to grammar, I would say.
Ji.
No, sir.
Exactly,
yes,
exactly. I see.
Because we are here to serve you. We are here to give you the least possible information that is for you, actually for you. So guys, thank you very much for your time. If you have any queries, if you want any details, and if you're stuck going abroad, you can always step into FutureServe Overseas Education Services. We are available for you people from Monday to Saturday from 10 o'clock a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Our address is really very simple and is reachable. That is Sheikh Yaseen Trade Center, 3rd floor, main Arbab Road stop. You can also visit our website, that is www.fsoes.com. I would recommend you to visit our Facebook page regularly so that you can never miss the chance to attend our live session. So guys, stay tuned for more. Take care of yourself, be yourself, and stay connected. Thank you very much for watching us.